Hi guys, and welcome to my Mancave shed studio tour. This has been a long time in the making and we finally have it finished. Now we do have a previous video of this already filmed, but it was really trash filming. It was wobbly and made people motion sick.
But what the hell, boy?
So we actually got the final complete build finished today for you. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. All right, so let's start off with the boring parts and build up to the big finale stuff. But starting off, I've broken up my shed into 4 bays and there's 4 major sections of the actual shed. This is the first one. This is mostly storage. There are some pretty major things to point out. Running a big shed like this uses a lot of electricity, and I always want to try and do the right thing by the environment. And also, I think it's just a nice way of doing it. But I've got solar panel. I have a lot of solar panels. I have 30 kilowatts, and then I also have a big 40 kilowatt hour battery. So I can actually run pretty much a whole night without even needing to use the grid, just purely off the batteries, even if I'm live streaming and all that. And if the power drops out, none of my content or none of my filming and videos and footage or anything ever gets interrupted because we're constantly on the battery as a backup as well. Also very safety conscious. I've got an actual cabinet for safety gear. We've had a few accidents over the time, and it's nice to have a bit of safety equipment available. But yeah, pretty much the rest of the shed, or this quadrant or this part of the actual shed, the bay, is all storage. Now to the more fun stuff. Let's go. All right, now for the second bay. The second bay is pretty much a mechanical bay. So my dad, he was or still is a mechanic. He practiced for 60 years, and 2 of my brothers are mechanics. So I've grown up around cars and I like tinkering with them as well. In the background, we have the fishing jet ski. So if you ever saw me do a fishing stream on the jet ski, that is my Sea-Doo Fish Pro. And I do want to actually get back out there and start doing it. I've been very busy of late, but can only really do it on the warmer months. So fishing streams will come back this summer for sure, because I want to get back out there and dropping a reel in. I've been doing a bit of fishing with the Real Shook up in Harvey Bay, and he's got me excited to do fishing again. Next to that, the Colada. Now, if you've seen any of my IRL videos, you probably know of the Colada. The Colada is a project car that we made based off Escape from Tarkov's Boss Killer. We bought a Lada Niva, which is very rare in Australia, and then we pimped it out to be the Colada. So it's got a ridiculously large sound system in it, and we made a face shield for it and pimped it out to look like it's wearing Adidas. So if you haven't checked out any of that content, I've got a full series of videos on it, and also a music video, which we made the song with John B, an absolute legend. You should definitely be checking that out. Now, last but not least for this bay is my mechanical section, where I've got the car hoist and also a VL Commodore, which is a Holden car. And it was actually my first car. I had 4 of them before I bought anything else. 2 non-turbos and then 2 turbos. This is an actual turbo, original Calais turbo, and it's also a manual. An extremely rare find these days, because most of them got wrapped around poles, destroyed in car wrecks, and impounded by the police for street racing. It's actually a really hard car to get now, and they've actually shot up in value. I've got this one nice and cheap, which is good, but it does need some work, and that's my current project. So when I'm tinkering on a car, this is my car. As for the actual area where there is my tools and all that, I've got a nice little bench set up already done, and then I got on a really cheap discount a King Chrome set with about 800 pieces that actually got damaged in a show display, and they took off a lot of money for me. So I thought, what a deal. Might as well grab that one. Now, that's the main mechanical bay, and then we get into the project bay. Let's go. All right, so this is the project bay. So the way this kind of works is we've got the balcony up the top. Underneath that, we have the gym set up, where if I'm training up, that's where I'll do my exercise. And then also on the other side is where I park my car. That's where it's currently set up as. But for example, with the Creators Uncut, this is where we had our outdoor area for the Creators Uncut. I flew over 6 content creators from around the world, and we pretty much did our own version of Big Brother, which was a lot of fun, a lot of work, but yeah, this is where we did it. So any sort of the ideas that we have, if we need a space to do it, I've pretty much got this space always available. So if we ever want to do something, that's where we do it. Outside of that, there's not really much going on there at the moment, but there's plenty to show you inside. So let's get into the 4th and final area of the shed man cave. Let's go. And this is the last bay of the whole shed. This is the foyer to the actual studio where I do my day-to-day activities. When we have people visit, this is where we do like Kappa speed runs and any of those events. Creators Uncut was filmed in here, and we've got plenty planned for the future. Now, this is the actual foyer section. So in here, I pretty much just put my milestones up on the wall, you know, my 100,000 subscriber plaques and stuff like that. And then I also got a good photo board for everyone who visits. We put one of those Polaroids up there, and then obviously storage for shoes and jackets and that, because it rains quite often where I live. Also, we have a bathroom that comes off here. That's pretty much just, a toilet, shower, and a basin where we can just, refreshen up. And if it's a Creators Uncut, that's the main bathroom that they used for the Creators Uncut. Now, into the main floor of the studio where the magic happens. And now into the main area of the studio. So in here, this is where I do my day-to-day work. So I have my main streaming setup all the way up the back. I have the kitchen. So if I'm going to be cooking, my oats every day, have for breakfast oats. I start at 4 in the morning too. So this is where, I have a coffee or a tea, whichever I feel like for the day. So I've got the kitchen set up there. It's actually really good that we can do, most of our cooking in here. We don't have the best ventilation. Working on that. It's on the to-do list. I've got my Zwift bike. That there is there for when I exercise. I'm training up for Mount Kilimanjaro later this year. We're going to be going over there as part of the Before Death crew and climbing Mount Kilimanjaro over in Tanzania. So that's happening in September. And then as we move further back, that's where we've got our setup for the couch and also the casting couch and also where I do all my gaming stuff. So let's move further back. Now I have a treat for you. This is the Gamer Sups bar. This is the best sponsor I've ever had. They literally hook me up with the best juices of all the juices. The juices could be juiced. Now, my favorite flavors are titty milk, grandpa's ashes, and raw meat. Tastes exactly like it sounds, and it's absolutely delicious. But in all seriousness, these guys have been an absolute gem to me and my content, and honestly couldn't do half the stuff I do without them. So if you're interested in checking it out, use code Pestily, and you won't be disappointed because honestly, it's just delicious in general, and it's really good for you. All right, so first up, we have my sim racing setup. There's a lot to go into this, so let's break that down right now. Now, I spoke to a lot of people when it came to the sim racer setup, and I ended up talking to a gentleman over at Hybrid Racing Sims or hrsims.com, and he was able to put together a nice setup for me, a beautiful rig. It's all put together by the P1X chassis. Now, this chassis is fully customizable. You can have it set up however you want. You can have, extra mouse pad bars coming out. Whatever you want, you can do it with this chassis. For the pedals, I use the Huskenwald Sim pedals. I believe they're German or Dutch. It's the Ultimates and the Pros. The wheels is a HR or Hybrid Racing Sim GT8 BT V8 supercar steering wheel with Bluetooth capability. I've got the HRS HR50X HUD. It's driven, or the driver is a SimuCube 2 Pro R2, which packs a punch, and I've actually hurt my wrist when someone's rammed me when I've been using this. And then for the monitors, I've got 3 Acer Predator 32 inches, which come across nice and crisp. And what would a racing setup be without a bucket seat, a nice cheeky Sparko bucket seat that holds me nice and taut? And that is my sim racing setup. Now I've got the sim racing setup out of the way. Let's talk about the gaming setup. There's 2 PCs right there, and we'll do a full breakdown of that right now. All right, so both my gaming PC and my stream PC are exactly the same. They're both powered by an Intel Core i9 14900K processor. They've both got MSI GeForce RTX 4090 Suprim 24GB GPUs with the MSI Mag Z790 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi DDR5 motherboard. They're also packing 64GB of DDR5. Now, I only use M2 drives these days, and these both have the MSI Spatium M570 2TB M2 drives in them. For cooling, they've both got the S360 all-in-one liquid coolers powered by a 1300 watt MSI platinum rated PSU and all tucked away nicely in the Phanteks NV5 D-RGB tempered glass black case. Now for the monitors, these are the crisp of the creme. They're the MSI 271 QRX QD-OLED 360Hz monitors. These things are as crisp and as pretty and as beautiful as a monitor you could get. When it comes to the peripherals, I like the idea of having a wireless keyboard. The Corsair K65 Plus wireless has been treating me really well. I'm addicted to the Logitech G903 mouse. It's been my go-to mouse now for a couple of years. I love my stylish Gamer Sups mouse pad. For headphones, I use the Biodynamic DT1990 Pros. I've had them since 2020 and they are good to go. They're plugged into a Go XLR and all my microphone stuff is based off Rode, the Procaster microphone and Studio Arm. Last but not least, the webcam is a Sony a6100 plugged into a capture card by Acer Media. And that is my entire PC setup. Now, something I'd like to note is I'm actually using a Secret Labs table. Now, originally I was going to make a custom table, something that was like made out of a nice piece of wood and have it sit stand and all that kind of stuff. But this actual Secret Lab table, I got it part of a charity thing, I think it was, and it was actually really, really good. So I'm actually continuing to use it. That's not sponsored or anything, but I just found it like it was very clean, tidy, and easy to use. So if you're interested, it's up to you. I don't really care. There's no affiliation there. But yeah, we should head upstairs because there's still more to show. Let's go. And welcome upstairs. So up here, this is broken up into 3 different bays. We've got a really luxurious curtain. It's actually like a proper sound curtain that fully blacks out the light and reflects all the sound. So it actually sounds really good up here. Less echo than actual downstairs. In the first bay up here, what we have here, this is where I leave some of my streaming clothes and all that. This is actually one of my merch. I paid $250 and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. This is the unshirt shirt. So if you're interested in that, Pestily.com, and I've got some more merch there as well. Over this side, actual spare setup, I probably will end up having my wife do all her work up here, but it's my old desk. It's actually too big. It didn't really work well with how I wanted all my stuff mounted. That's why the Secret Labs table kind of works out really well. And then we've got storage. So this is all the stuff that we don't really touch. You know, it's like boxes of any PC gear and all that kind of stuff that, you know, we've bought it, but, you know, there's warranties and you want to be able to send it back in the original box. And then anything that was used on the stream over periods of time. So we've got like plenty of stuff. We've got the jelly beans from the jelly bean video that we did. That was actually Michael and I's first video, and I think he soon realized how painful it would be to work with me at that period of time. And then also we've got plus like a heap of stuff from like the smoke machine from the Colada music video and just bits and pieces. You collect a lot of crap when you're doing a lot of content creation, sponsored stuff, and then brands sending cool gear all the time. So we that's where it all gets stored. Let's move over to bay number 2. All right, so bay number 2 for upstairs. This is broken up into a streaming setup. So when anyone visits, so Red Ops came over or Daddy Toast for a subathon, and they cover me when I'm sleeping. So when I'm not sleeping, they come up here. This is where they get to play games. They get to stream. Whoever visits, if Michael's over and he wants to do some work, whoever, this is the PC that is used for all of that. It was originally set up that we were going to do a podcast up here, and I actually have PowerPoints in the ceiling ready to go and extra support in the ceiling ready to go to put extra lighting and boom mics and everything from up there. But we decided against doing the podcast or continuing on the podcast. We just got too many things on the go constantly, and we're trying to just streamline it, keep it all nice and ridgy-dig. Pretty much just to the side of me as well. This is where we actually have all our boxes and storage for everything that we use all the time. So from power cables, microphones, USB web cameras, USB cables, Ethernet cables, keyboards, mouses, anything. If someone comes over and they're like, hey, my mouse is not working, I need an extra mouse, I've got it ready to go. I'm probably the most organized gamer you're ever going to see when it comes to these cases and these boxes, but I'm really happy with how we've got it set up because it makes things really easy. Let's get to the third and final bay of upstairs. Let's go. All right, the last quadrant for upstairs, we have 3 things that are happening or happen in this area. Number 1, the green screen. So over this side, this is where we do certain videos when we're filming. Probably more recent one was one of the advertisements I did for Call of Duty. We use that there. And if we're doing some funny advertisements or just random filming for YouTube videos, that's where we do it. It actually works really well. And I've always wanted to have a green screen wall where I could do something as cool as what that is, because that's actually really sick. Then directly behind me, there is a bed. Now that bed is, there's actually 2 mattresses. Those mattresses are used for the subathons. Generally speaking, I just separate them and say Daddy Toast or Red Ops is here or Michael. We just use one of those mattresses and that's where we sleep. And because I've got all these wired up with Ethernet cables everywhere, I can plug a camera in pretty much in any room in any location, which works out really well. Last but not least, the 4PC LAN setup. Now this was a partnership deal between me, PC Case Gear, Intel, and MSI. And they've been all great supporters of my community and my content. So they hooked us up with the 4 PCs, and we had 6 of us actually all live streaming at the same time, where we did a Kappa speed run in 4.5 days. And that was pretty much as fast as you could possibly do it. And it was a lot of fun. So thanks to those guys, we now have 4 PCs there ready to go. Well, generally they're ready to go, kind of pulled apart right now because we haven't finished setting them up again. But when we do need to, we can set up our 4 PCs right there. And that is pretty much everything from the top floor minus the balcony. So last place that we will visit for this video is out there. So let's go. And last place for this whole video is out back in the main shed on the balcony. So we've got this opportunity up here for if we ever wanted to film stuff from the top, but it's also kind of cool to like be able to look down and just oversee all the cool creations we've had over the period of all the content that we've been making. So I really want to use this opportunity to say a massive thank you to everyone who's watching this video or has watched any of my content ever, because without you guys, none of this would have ever been possible. And I'm very thankful of everything you guys have given me and the support you guys have given over the time. So thank you so much for this. If you got to this point and you're not subscribed, do consider and like and comment, and let me know what your favorite funny weird thing about my whole setup and all that is. Tell me everything I've done wrong, but I've really tried my best to think of ways I could use this studio in a way that I can make really great content for the future. So I'm not finished making content. I've got a lot of stuff I still want to do, and thanks to you guys, I've been able to do it, and I'm going to continue to do it for a long time to see or to go. So much love, and lastly guys, I'll see you next time. I clicked myself away and disappeared.